Now, this is Professor here, Professoar. Another tip, I'm going to show you guys how to add effects to multiple instruments. Now, there's a way that I used to do this, and then a way that I learned that you should start doing this if you're still using the other way. So now, I'm going to show you right here, you're going to hear a difference in these instruments. So I'm going to mute this and let you hear this. Now I'm doing that there, and I'm doing that here as well. And I'm going to show you the importance of why we're going to start doing it using submixes rather than placing everything on the same mixer. So you're going to hear that here as well. So what you're hearing there is this and this are both being affected by this as well. But these are not on the same spot in the mixers. Those two synths are on 23 and 24. Now, I could have just had them both on 25 or 23 or anywhere and run the tape stop effect on them, but then they'd both be on the same spot in my mixer, and I can't mix them appropriately later with an EQ to make sure that they're taking up the right frequencies on my track. So you can, as I said, do it by just placing everything on one track, which I'll show you right now. We're going to put the kick and the snare that I have right here that are being affected by this both on, I believe, 13, which is where my submix is. Now, it'll affect them both. Even if this is not a submix, it'll still affect them. And you'll hear that here. But the problem with this now, since they're both on 13, is they're both not going to have the volume differences that I have right here, as well as any other, again, mixing plugins that I'm going to want to put in later, or even other effects that I'm not going to want them both to be affected by. So what I did was I believe, my snare on 12, and I believe we had this kick on 11. Yeah, 11, 12, 13. So these are now being being routed to that submix. So now, while they're both coming out of these different mixers, the effects that I have being automated through 13 right here, which we'll see, so this parametric EQ I'm using as a high cut. You can do whatever you want, but I have it routed to that submix. And to route something to a submix, this is what you do. You highlight the group of things that you want, try and place them next to each other. So you press Control, and while left clicking, you drag along. Now that you have these three selected, leave the last one empty, of course, with no instruments in it, because you want this to be the submix. Right click it, track routing, and then you're going to click Create Submix. And then you can appropriately label it, of course. Now, as you can see, these are routed to here and then rerouted to the master track as well. So essentially what you're doing is allowing things to be mixed inside, well, that's what it is, a submix, being mixed with inside your mixer, which is extremely useful when you want to get into technical and more advanced mixing. If you want to add things to the submix, of course, you could just freaking move this right and left. Say I want to get something in a submix and I have something on 14 suddenly. Of course, Alt left, or you can right click. So move, Alt left, boom. Now I have this in an appropriate place to add it to the submix. So highlight all again. At the end, the one you right click on, create that submix. Now I have this being linked also to my submix. It's as easy as that. So that's how you're going to be adding things to your submix as well and reorganizing. And of course, you can add separators and get rid of separators by right-clicking, separator, right-click, separator, right-click, separator. It's good to be organized, and you can rename your tracks and change the color by just right-clicking it, rename and recolor icon. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. Excellent. There you go. See? And if you had them all highlighted, it would affect all of them. But that's why submixes are so important. And not only that, they're extremely easy to use, especially in 12.5. And you could do whatever you want. I definitely recommend starting to use submix if you're going to be affecting different instruments with the same type of effects, which, of course, you saw was very useful in here. I didn't have to worry about doubling the my low cut on 2 different instruments or my tape stop on 2 different sounds. Instead, I was able to do it and knock it out at once. And when you're layering synths, like with 3 different sounds, that's going to save you a ton of time. And when you want to master a whole drum track together, you can master mix each instrument separately, or like kick and snare, but then you can also mix them all after that in a post mix with, like, say, a frequency boost or a lowering. It's going to make things sound like when you get your ears going the way, like just hearing every little thing and you need something to sound a certain way, it's just going to help a lot. So as you know, it's going to be great for, once again, I keep saying mixing. It's going to be great for your mixing. It's going to be great for your effects as well. All right, guys. Well, that's all for that one today. So, once again, that was Professor, Professoar, and check out the social media links below: SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Pond5, and make sure you give a like and a subscribe. And thanks, guys. Peace out. Have a good one.